Hey students, in this video I'm going to teach you how to add and subtract mixed numbers. Once you've watched this video and tried out the problems for yourself, there's an answer key you can check to see the rest of the answers. So when we add or subtract mixed numbers or fractions, we have to have the same denominator. So this has a 5 on the bottom and this has a 4 on the bottom. And so I cannot just add those currently the way they are. They need to have a common denominator. So the first question I'm going to ask myself is, what's a number that 5 and 4 share? For example, if I were to count by 5s and count by 4s, what's a number that they would both share? In my mind, the first thing I come up with is 20. So I'm going to try and change both denominators into 20. And I'm going to do that using multiplication. So 5 times 4 is what gives me 20. And whenever you multiply the bottom number of your fraction by something, you have to do the same to the top. So 1 times 4, I get 4. So now I've changed 2 and 1/5 into 2 and 4/20. And now I'm going to go ahead and change my other fraction as well. So this is 3/4. I'm trying to change the bottom into 20. So 4 times 5 gives me 20. And then I do the same to the top. 3 times 5 is 15. So 3/4 changes to 15/20. So now this says +1 and 15/20. So now that that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and add the whole numbers and the fractions separately. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And then 4/20 plus 15/20, that is 19/20. When we add fractions that have the same denominator, we just add the numerators together. The denominator stays the same. So there we go, 3 and 19/20. All right, the next one, this one here, I'm actually going to go to number 5 here. So I have 1/2 plus 2 3/5. So 2 and 5, different denominators. I need them to have something in common. So what's a number that 2 and 5 share? That would be 10. That's the first thing I think of. So I'm going to change 2 into 10 by multiplying it by 5. And I do the same to the top. 1 times 5 is 5. So 1 and 1/2 becomes 1 and 5/10. Now I'm going to change 3/5 to have a denominator of 10. So 5 times 2 is what gives me 10. I do the same to the top. 3 times 2 is 6. So now this says 3 and 6/10. So now I'm ready to go ahead and add these. I'm going to add the whole numbers and fractions separately. So 1 plus 3 is 4. And then 5/10 plus 6/10 is 11/10. Remember, we're just adding the numerators. We're keeping the denominator the same. But you'll notice that here we get an improper fraction. This is worth more than 1. So I need to change this 11/10 into a mixed number. So I have my 4, and I'm going to add this new mixed number to that. So 11 over 10. Well, 10 fits into 11 once. I can make one whole out of that, and I still have 1/10 left over. So you can see how all I did was change the 11/10 into this, 1 and 1/10. That way I can add them together to get 5 and 1/10. And that is my final answer, 5 and 1/10. Okay, we're going to move on to a subtracting example, this one here. So I have 3 and 1/2 minus 2 and 2/3. So 2, 3 different denominators. A number that 2 and 3 share is 6. So I'm going to change both denominators into 6. So 2 times 3 gives me 6. I do the same to the top. So I get 3. This is changing to 3 and 3/6. And then here, I'm going to change this one into 6 as well. So 3 times 2 makes 6. I do the same to the top. 2 times 2 is 4. So this becomes 2 and 4/6. Now, normally I would subtract the whole numbers and then the fractions separately, but you'll notice that 4/6 is greater than 3/6. So when that happens, we are going to borrow, kind of like we do when we do stacked subtraction. So I'm going to borrow one whole thing from this 3, making it a 2. And I'm going to add that to my fraction here. So I'm adding it to something that has a denominator of 6. I need 6/6 to make a whole, so I'm going to add 6 to this numerator. Instead of 3, now it's going to be 9. Now this represents one whole, the one whole I added, and 3/6, 9/6. Now I'm ready to actually subtract separately. So 2 minus 2, that's 0. And then 9/6 minus 4/6 is 5/6. Okay, and let's do another subtraction example. I'm going to move down to, actually move to this one here, 6. So 2, 9 different denominators. A number they share is 18. So let's turn both denominators into 18. 2 times 9 gives me 18. Do the same to the top, and I get 9 over 18. So this is 3 and 9/18. And then here, I'm changing 5 over 9 to have a denominator of 18 as well. So times 2 to give me 18. Do the same to the top, and you get 10. So this is 2 and 10/18. So it happened again where my fraction, this fraction is actually greater than this one, so I'm going to need to borrow again. So I'm going to borrow from the 3, making it a 2. And when I add that 1 to this numerator, remember I'm adding the full amount of the denominator because I need 18/18 to make a whole. So I'm adding 18 to this. 18 plus 9 is 27. So now I can subtract separately. 2 minus 2 is 0. 27 minus 10 is going to give me 17. So 17/18 is my final answer here.